There are certain signs of fallen nature that, well, they come really easy to be recognized. They show up, you go, oh, that's fallen nature. Sometimes they're misdiagnosed, like angry outbursts. Now, father was prone to abrupt yelling. So if you're going to say, oh, I can recognize fallen nature by angry outburst, you'd be off. Enough said. But some of the signs of fallen nature are known by the consequences, not necessarily by demeanor, the look on your face, anything like that, countenance, but the destruction. And so rule of acquisition number 3 is the employment of I don't know. We're not going to be afraid of I don't know. We're going to say I don't know when it honestly applies. One of the reasons why we don't say I don't know is because of lack of love, coupled together with, intellectual vanity, false God, right? So if you're not feeling loved, which shouldn't be a problem for a blessed person, blessed people are the most loved people in the cosmos. So you shouldn't be feeling lack of love. And then you shouldn't have the value system of any of the false gods. Intellectual vanity is one of them. In other words, you subscribe to that false god that says if you don't look like a smart person in the room, you are not loved, or your value will be in doubt. All right, if you're subscribing to this false god, I've talked to many people still subscribing to this false god, and when the trump card is laid down on the table by their opponent in a debate or in an argument, they become intellectually dishonest, feign ignorance of the fact that they lost the debate. So if you ever questioned in a way that disqualifies your position, you're questioned and it exposes that you need to go back to the drawing board, or you need to study more to support your claim, your assertion, your side. If you ever have to go back to the drawing board, that's not the end of the world. If you have to lose a debate, since you're not responsible for the other person's life, spiritual life, right? There's no Cain Abel hierarchy, so there's no jockeying for position over the other person. If they have to go about their business, okay, still ignorant of something, that's nothing on you. If they have to go about their business not caring what you think about anything, that's fine, because there is no hierarchy, there is no restoration age. We are not hierarchy beings, and therefore smarter than so-and-so and not as smart as so-and-so is not a thing for the original true God. God only cares about what you actually know and do. He's there to help you with what you actually know and don't know. The reason why we don't represent, or we tend to misrepresent what we know and what we don't know, is because of the vanity of who looks smarter than who. So rule of acquisition number 3, the employment or the usage of the term I don't know is encouraged when it applies. If you are unwilling to say, within this space with these people studying the fourth Adam and the settlement age, if you're unwilling to say I don't know, okay, you're probably going to warp the content, warp the exchange. You're probably going to fail to acknowledge or fail to signal when we need to be in a group study over something together. You don't need to assert or over assert or assert with excessive desire that you know something that you don't know. Okay. It's very important to be intellectually honest. And your first commitment is to the study of fourth Adam and the settlement age in this channel, and not looking smart. Okay. Looking smart doesn't matter. We are the most loved people on the planet, so getting extra points for looking smart doesn't matter. We're not willing to sabotage the transparency and the purity and the clarity of our discussion over looking good one way or another. And looking smarter than so-and-so is one way that we can hijack or sabotage conversation. And we're not going to do that on this channel. So rule of acquisition number 3, we will use the term I don't know when it applies.